What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I'm JC Owens, and this is Rockmyworld, episode 26, Jack of all trades. Now, you folks have heard me use this term before, and you've also heard me talk about how much I like to spread myself out into multiple different fields, hobbies, etc. Um, you know, I've said it many times, but I haven't really explained why it's so important to me to do so. You see, this tendency our society has to encourage one to over specialize, to study just that one field till you become the master of that field, right? The reason they do that is because it makes you easier to control. Now think back to something like the Manhattan Project, the first nuclear bomb. How did they keep that secret and keep people from knowing what they were working on? Well, they only let work on your one part of the project. Just your one part. That one itty bitty part. You might know that everything there is to know about that one itty bitty part, but you don't know anything about the bigger picture, right? It's just like, if I do a painting, right, and I decide, well, I want to, get some more people in on this, we're going to do a collab, right? We're going to do the painting together. Well, if I only give you your one little part and only let you see your one little part, you will never know what the larger painting is meant to be. And this is the way that the Rockefellers and the other globalist elite of the day designed our school system. That's the way they designed our college system. I've told you before, the Ivy League is directly connected to British MI6. Right? Like, they wanted it this way. Rockefeller was quoted as saying, we don't need any more artists and scholars. We have enough of those from the upper classes. What we need is obedient workers who are just smart enough to do the jobs that we need them to do, but not smart enough to recognize what they're actually working towards, what we're actually doing. Right? You have others throughout the past 150 years talking about how much, how angry regular people would be if they found out what they were actually up to, right? Well, all of this is why they encourage you to specialize in one thing, right? Yes, I started out as a guitar player, but I learned to sing alongside that, along with all kinds of other skills. And then when I hurt my hand and could no longer really play guitar like I could before, I had something else to do. I had something else to fall back on. That's another thing that is super important about, spreading yourself out and being interested in lots of different things. You see, the modern world, like the post-World War II world, was set up so that you could over-specialize in just one job, just one area of knowledge, and you could survive that way. You could work the same job for your whole life, retire from that job, die, and everything's peachy keen. You could own a house, you could own a car, you could own all these things, and everything was fine. But we are not in that era anymore. You cannot do that. The AI and technology are still, expanding so fast that things are changing faster than you can even get out of college. It's like I was telling my friend Brad not long ago, y'all's friend too. What's up, Brad? But it's like I was telling him not long ago, like with the college system. Now things are moving so fast that by the time you actually go to college and get a degree, it's already outdated. It's too late. Right? And the field might have already been taken over by AI mostly by the time you get out of school. Right? The old model is not going to work anymore. That's why they're starting a new model. The AI will help you learn from cradle to grave. People will start learning like I have. When we were given the internet back in the 90s, I immediately realized how powerful of a tool it was, and I used it to educate myself. I used it to educate myself. Yes, I was given a foundation through the Malay school and the private school I went to and all these kinds of things, but, it was my own research that helped me put the bigger picture together. Because the way these people design things, even though I went to a private school, even though I, am related to someone famous and all these kinds of things, the fact of the matter is, only those at the very top of the pyramid know the whole picture or are supposed to, right? I wanted to know the whole picture. I wanted to see it all. I wanted to know what I was working towards. And this is why I left. Once I found out what we were working towards, I could no longer do it. Right? This is why it's so important for you to also go out and learn as much as you can. You need to be fit. You need to be smart. And you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared to take on whatever comes. Like I've told you before, become a Swiss Army knife. The more functions you have, not only the more useful you are to yourself, but the more useful you are to everyone else. All right? The more stuff you can do, the better off you're going to be. The more likely people are going to want to take you into their group and help you survive what is coming. The more likely folks are not going to want to let you get picked up by the globalist, empire stormtroopers. It's because you're going to be useful, right? The more likely you're going to be able to come up with a solution for whatever problem you're going to be into. They don't want regular people doing this. They want you to over-specialize. That way you are easy to control and you can never see the big picture. You can never protect yourself fully. You will have to rely on them. However, if you do go out there, like I'm saying, and you educate yourself, you turn yourself into a weapon, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually, then we can actually defeat these people. If we all come together and we are all prepared, then we absolutely can defeat them. Nothing is set in stone. Yes, the old system is gone. There's no way to stop that. Things have went too far at this point. The American dream, the old system, all of it's gone. The old economy, gone. Everything we grew up with is gone. The game table has been upended, right? But, as I've told you before, yes, what is old is burnt down. We can't get around that. The fact of the matter is everything born must die. That's the way everything is. Every system has entropy. I'll die, you'll die. Any painting I make will eventually rot away and disappear. Any sword I make will rust and go back to the earth. It's the way everything is. It's the way everything is. Right? So we need to be prepared to let go of what was and build something new. That's the only place we have left to go. Right? Some things are set in stone, some things are not. Well, they said the collapse, can't stop that. Things have went too far. We cannot undo all of this mess that our governments have, and corporations have gotten us into. But we can decide where it goes. We can decide where it goes. And in order to do that, we have to all be capable. That said, if you can, find and read books like Harold Quigley's Tragedy and Hope, The Anglo-American Establishment, Sir Francis Bacon's New Atlantis, Manly P. Hall, Secret Destiny of America, Zbigniew Brzezinski's works, get a hold of anything you can. Rockefeller biographies, Rothschild biographies. Get your hands on anything you can. I have the digital copies of Tragedy and Hope in the Anglo-American Establishment. If you need it, just let me know and I'll shoot you the link for the download. As far as that goes, people say that you should you can never be a master if you concentrate on all these different fields. Well, I hate to tell you, you can't be a master 100% master anyway. We are too finite. We do not live long enough, right? So those who say that it's a waste of your time, because you'll never master everything. Well, you'll never master that one field that you're in. You think you know everything there is to know about it, but you can never know everything there is to know about anything. So you're better off expanding yourself as much as you can, right? Anyway, much love, folks. I'll talk at you later. Peace.